Hey guys, today you find us at our Automotive Passion facility here in South Florida. Behind me we have the new RS3 8Y Gen 2. Also, many of you know it as the 8.5 generation. So, main purpose of today's video is to talk you through some new components that we have alongside the full install procedure of removing the rear bumper safely from the car and installing our aftermarket rear diffuser, new rear side elements, and talking you through the whole process that you feel comfortable at your home or with a garage to get this done safely. So let's move on to what we have in front of us today. So we have the latest RS3 generation diffuser. This centerpiece diffuser is a full replacement for the original center diffuser on the factory vehicle, which can be used on the saloon estate version and the sportback/hatch version. On the hatch version, we have side elements which are integrated into the sides of the diffuser. On the saloon version, the sides of the bumper are a little longer. So we have made a version today where we have separate rear side elements that can be mounted alongside the center diffuser, sold as a package. Or you can also purchase these and have these on the car separately, not part of the center rear diffuser package. So we're going to talk you through exactly what is needed to remove the rear bumper safely. In front of me on the table today, we've got a few tools and some trim tools that are going to make our job a whole lot easier when we come to remove the rear bumper. So firstly, plastic trim tools. We can't go wrong with these. These are going to help us in all situations. Next, most important part, 10mm deep socket. I emphasize deep socket. Ensure that you have one of these on a 3/4. That's going to help you a whole lot as well. We have a couple power tools, but you can also, and we always do recommend, using hand-held ratchets for the job. Along with that, you're going to need a T25, as there are a whole bunch of T25 screws held on to the underside of the original rear diffuser and bumper and in the wheel arch liner to remove the arch lining. So those are some of our basic tools, not too complicated. We're now going to move on to the arch liners, where we are going to remove some of the T25s and then move on to the underside and talk you through the full process in depth. Moving on to the inside now, we have removed the original tray cover within. We have also, for the purposes of the video, we've already removed this plastic trim piece. I'm going to talk you through what you need to do to remove the trim piece. So you've got a little foam insert on the inside of the boot. You're going to firstly remove that, and then you're going to just pry up with your hands on the underside of this plastic trim tool, and you can pry it up and it works its way up and out of the back of the car. We need this out as we have our two deep sockets in the middle here, and then we have an additional two on the sides. So if we also come along and have a look on the insides of the carpeting, on the inside of the boot, we have two little plastic covers which are stuck onto the top of the deep 10mm sockets on each side. And then in the center, we have two 10mm in the center here, which we are going to remove. With our 10mm deep socket, we've gone ahead and unscrewed all the nuts from the pins. As soon as you get the nuts far enough back, what you can do, two little tricks. We've got some magnetic sockets which weren't able to go all the way in, but we're going to swap it over for a magnetic socket so we can grab those nuts and they do not fall down into the bodywork and frame. Or you can use a little magnet that you can get on the edge of the nuts, and you can then slowly pry it out with your finger so that you grab the nut on the end of the magnet. Ensure to use this method, or else you will end up dropping these nuts into the car and won't be able to retrieve them. So ensure you follow out that little important step. Now that we've removed all of the nuts from the pins within the bumper, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we are now going to move on to the next process, which is removing the lights. So to get to the lights, we're needing to remove this little trim piece which is held in place, and then there are two T25s behind that hold the light assembly in place. So I find that the easiest method is working from above. So if you're able to get a trim tool in from above, work your way in, up and around the flap. And then if you can get a hand in the back, you can then slide the trim piece downwards. So a little trick is get as close as you possibly can to the light with your trim tool. Once you have pried this away, you're able to get your hand in there and then slowly pry up the plastic trim, and it is just going to snap out of position. As you can see, all the clips are fully engaged, and I will show you at the end of the video to fit these a little easier come the end of the video. The hard part is getting them out. So now we've got two T25s in here, which we're going to go ahead and remove, which hold the light assembly in position. Now please be careful dealing with these lights. They are expensive, these OLEDs, so take your time. When you remove these screws, don't worry, the light is not going to fall out of place. It has some rubber sockets that it sits within. So let's go ahead and get these out. And we love our little magnetic wand to help us get all of these screws out of place. Now that we have all the T25s out of place, we have removed the pins. The only thing holding the rear bumper in place now is the 4 pins that we had the little nuts on the back of. So you actually feel we've got the sides unclipped, we've got some masking tape to protect the top of the vehicle and the paintwork. We are now going to slowly, holding the exhaust tip area and the top of the bumper here, we are just going to slowly move that towards ourselves, and you will see that the pins dislodge themselves. If you now have a look at the back side, depending if you have the kick feature or not, we have a fair few good plugs in the back side. So while holding it, you're going to need to disengage each little plug by pressing them down, and they do slide off. 1, 2, 3, and that is it. 3 plugs on the back side. As you can see, we've also changed the clothes here as we're about to get a little messy on the inside of the bumper. So we've got loads of tab locations. We've got tabs that run all the way along the inside of the bumper on the inside, and we have some tabs on the outside. So with a plastic trim tool or a flathead screwdriver, we are able to just work the tabs on the inside slightly towards yourself like such. We are just going to get a trim tool behind there or a flathead screwdriver, and we are able to just pry the tabs towards yourself. So these are the actual physical tabs on the bumper itself and not on the carbon. This will help when we try and disengage the diffuser. It will all come out together. On the top side, we have a few tabs that you're needing to press the tab in, and once you get one corner, you're then able to work your way around with a helping hand. One of us is able to hold up the diffuser itself and the bumper, and the other person is able to pry slowly with a trim tool each little part, and we're able to start to clip out the bumper from the diffuser. So as we go along, we're able to dislodge each little part of it. So let's get that center piece again. That one hasn't completely dislodged, Dev. This one here, so there we go. And you can work your way along the underside first. This will make your life a whole lot easier. And as you can see, a helping hand is really needed in this process, working along the bottom side. And there we go. The underside of the diffuser has now been dislodged. And what we're able to do now is, if we actually get our hand underneath, we are able to get a flat palm underneath, and holding the inside of the bumper, we are able to just unclip all of the tabs, because we have already worked around the bumper and dislodged all of the little tabs holding it in place. And there we go. We also, on the inside, we have the kick boot function feature, which is actually holding and laid on the inside of the diffuser itself, which we are going to transfer over onto the carbon diffuser. So we've got the kick feature here. We are actually just going to pop the module out. It is held in place on each side with 2 little clips and tabs, and we are going to remove that out, and we are going to then unplug it. Let's see if we can actually unplug it. That may be easier than moving it out. So we're going to unplug it. That's an easier method, and that will allow it to all come out, and the original rear diffuser will stay in place. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of debris and stones and everything on the inside of the original diffuser that is caught up over time. So you can give that a nice cleanup, move that over to the side, and yeah, let's move on now to the fun part of working with the new carbon diffuser and side elements. Okay, now that we have the diffuser off the vehicle, we also have the new carbon diffuser as well on our left-hand side. All we need to go ahead and do now is transfer over the kick boot function feature from the original onto the new one. So all we're going to do is we're just going to check the placement on the original. We're going to take a few basic measurements just to ensure that we put this back in the same location. It can be 5 millimeters off here and there. It will not make a difference whatsoever, so do not worry about the exact precise location. So make sure to use a tape measure, and you can then go ahead from the tape measure measurements and move that over onto our diffuser. We are going to show you using a tiny bit of bonding agent and some 3M tape. We are going to place the new kick feature into the back of the carbon diffuser in the similar position that we have it on the OEM. The easiest method to remove the small kick feature sensor is to actually use a Stanley and cut the small zip tie that holds the sensor in place. That is a whole lot easier than actually going ahead and trying to unclip them. This means that if you ever do want to transfer it back in the future, you are able to do so very easily just with a new zip tie. So we'll go ahead with a Stanley knife and we'll keep our distance from the cable, obviously. Please ensure that for your safety. And as you will see, that gets dislodged very easily. So we'll work our way along, get that sorted, and we'll then transfer that over using the locations of the originals, and we will then bond and glue the sensor into place. Right, so we have now removed it from the factory diffuser and we are adding it to the new diffuser. What we have used is just a little bit of masking tape just to get the placement correct first. Please ensure that the red cable is on the top hand side and the black is on the bottom. Ensure to lay it out like we have here, as this is going to plug in to the back of the vehicle once we have the diffuser mounted back onto the bumper. Right, now that we have all of the original little tabs off the bumper, we have also removed the 3M tape from the back side of them. As you can see, the placements on the back side, they've actually got small little square hole locations where they sit within, which have been inserted as little templates on the back of the original. So that makes life very easy when you come to make measurements onto the AP diffuser. So what we're going to use today is we're actually going to use a very basic glue gun. This is reversible. At future dates, we can go ahead, use a glue gun, heat it up, and we are just going to pop a glue gun on the back of all the little locations, pop all the little tabs in place. We are then going to use some small zip ties, and as per the original diffuser, we are going to add the zip ties back through and pop the cables back into position before we go ahead and mount the diffuser back onto the bumper. Now with the cable holders all removed and the 3M tape removed from the back of them, we are going to take our tape measure and we can mark from where the holders used to be in position with a tape measure down to the bottom part of where the clip itself starts. So that is just shy of 2 inches. We can then go into the same location on the AP diffuser and we can work out just shy of 2 inches, and we can mark that with a pen to know where that is, and we can then move along the original diffuser and the AP diffuser, marking where the little holder brackets need to be. Once we have done that, we are then going to take our glue gun and we are going to just pop a little bit of glue on the back of the AP diffuser. This is just a hot glue gun. Luckily, good thing about this is it can be removed at any point and it is not permanent. So we are going to take our glue gun and we are going to just push down on the little tabs and get that into place, and we are going to work our way along. And once we have done that, we can then get some cable ties so that once we pop the cables in position, the cable tie can hold them in position as per the original diffuser. Now that we've securely fixed the fixing for the kick boot feature function on the back of the rear diffuser, we can now move over and get the bumper set up on the trailer face up, and we are going to now move the diffuser onto the back side of the bumper. So let's go ahead, get the bumper lined up. So, important on the back side, you need to ensure that all the tabs and the clips slot behind the plastic painted bumper clips. So they need to slide in there first. Ensure that they all sit behind and not in front. Do not clip them in just yet. You are then going to move on to the top side, and we are just going to firmly press the clips into position like OEM. That is the left side pretty much in place. I'm going to just move around a little bit to the right hand side and ensure then we can just apply a little bit of pressure from the underside ensuring that all the clips push all the way through. Alright, as long as everything is about 80% pushed in place, once the bumper is back onto the vehicle, we're able to push everything firmly once we have a solid backing. And yeah, let's go ahead now, let's get it set up. Now that we have the diffuser in place on the top side, we're going to go ahead and flip the bumper onto its face side so that we can ensure that all the tabs have been engaged correctly. Make sure to use some bubble wrap on the underside. We're now going to have a look that all of the tabs have been pushed through correctly. We're able to give a little bit of force and pressure, just ensuring everything has gone through. What we like to do is we like to use a little bit of bonding agent or a glue gun just on the back of a few of the tabs, ensuring that they are solid and in place. Once it goes back on the vehicle, some of the tabs are used with the little small self-tapper screws, so they are also held in place by the screws. So let's ensure everything's all solid, and we are now going to talk you through the next steps of fitting the rear side elements to the sides of the bumper to complete the diffuser kit. Now that we have all the clips engaged and pushed through, we are going to use the little original silver tabs which go on the back of the clips. We are going to reuse them, clip them into place. Please remember, reconnect the kick boot function feature back into the underside of the module. Right, those have securely been clipped into place. We are now going to go ahead and demonstrate how the rear side elements fit onto the bumper. Moving on to the rear bumper side elements, these can be fitted along with the AP diffuser or the original diffuser as well. They can be purchased separately. You can also just fit the center section without the side elements, but we are going to talk you through how to go ahead and fit up the side elements. So you'll see that they are a continuation and they slot into place on the rear diffuser. There is a small recess on the bottom here, so it fits just away from the bottom like such. Once you have that lined up, we recommend using some masking tape on the underside and using a marker pen, at least making use of the top and the lower holes with some small self-tapper screws that we supply with the kit. If you do not want to use the self-tapper screws, we also include some double-sided tape that needs to be run the full length of the underside of the bumper along with the screws. We can't guarantee with changing climates that the tape will hold up for a long period of time, but use that alongside with the self-tapper screws. So in our next steps, we will share once we have those fitted up in place. Now that we have the rear side elements fitted up, we've actually just fitted them with some double-sided tape for photos and installation, as the diffuser is going to be coming off again for some of our different variations that we have at AP, part of our offering and our catalog. So double-sided tape is actually rock solid, holds them in place. Another option, if you do not want to use the screws, which we would recommend, is using some bonding agent. Either Tiger Seal or windscreen bonding agent does a great job, because that will eliminate the small 2 to 3 millimeter gap which the double-sided tape has once you flip it over from the side profile view. But that is absolutely rock solid, in place, just with the supplied 3M tape. So if you do not want to add any screws and holes to the underside of your bumper, bonding agent or the 3M tape applied correctly will do a pretty good job. So let's get it flipped up. Let's get the bumper up in place with the 4 pinhole locations from the inside that hold it onto the bumper. We can get it all lined up before we go and press it into position. Once you get the bumper close to the vehicle, you are going to need to engage all of the original plugs once again. On this vehicle today, we have 2 on that side and 1 on this side, which exclude the 2 plugs from the underside kick boot feature. So ensure that you clip these back in before you go ahead and line up the prongs with the hole locations on the vehicle. You got one more there, Dev. One more plug. That's it. Okay, let's line up the clips. You also want to just ensure that you get your cables for our lights out of the way as well. Do not want those caught up in there. And as mentioned before taking the bumper off, we really recommend using some masking tape. So let's get that in place. Okay, so now that we have the bumper pushed into place, it is very important to ensure you have your one small clip on the top and you've got one underneath it. Ensure that these both fit through the slots on the bumper. Ensure this cable's out of the way for the lights, and then you want to ensure that all of the clips on the bumper go into the correct top locations. Sometimes this clip over here likes to go underneath the bumper. You need to ensure that it goes up and into its slot. We're going to work from this position around the side until we have the sides of the bumper clipped into position. Once we have everything lined up and we are happy with everything, we are going to take our little tabs that slot into place. So you'll see that the small little square / triangle slides through the original clip tabs, and that slides into place, and that holds the two clips in position. Once we've done that to the right hand side, you'll move on to the left hand side, and once we're happy with everything, we'll give the diffuser a small little push just to ensure that all the clips are engaged, and that is you good to go. We're going to reinstall the lights the same way that we removed them and add in the rear trim in the back section, and that is the full rear bumper installation on an RS3 8Y. And we'll also share some awesome media of the newly fitted rear diffuser with and without the lower rear bumper side elements. I hope this video helps. Now that we got the car up on the ramp, we're able to take a little picture of the underside. We have actually only used 3M double-sided tape. Installation is absolutely perfect. There actually is no need to use any screws. The surface area is fantastic, so using the tape that we supplied, they will be absolutely rock solid. Let's move on to the underside. All of the mounting clip and screw locations reused on the underside. And that is a successful installation, done and dusted, on our Automotive Passion carbon rear diffuser. On the underside of the front splitter, we're going to show you all the original screw and hole locations that have been reused. All original factory mounting point locations.